Pasha Miketz, something very nice from the Rebbe's father, Rebbe Yitzchok Zatzal. This week's Pasha we have that after Yosef came out from jail and he explained the dreams to Paroi, they made him viceroy of Egypt and they gave him many rewards. And then it says in the Pasuk, they called him Avrech, young lad, simple prat. Rashi brings down from Medrash, the word Avrech is two words. Av, like father, and Rach, young. He was a father in wisdom, that means very mature, very wise, but also still young. Very unique blend. Comes Rabbi Yitzchok and continues in this remez, that's two words, Av and Rach. And he says there's a Gemara in Tainus, and that Gemara is hinted over here in this word Avrech. Very interesting. In general, Rabbi Yitzchok has a shita, has a way of learning, that every Manda Omar in Gemara, he's connected to the origin of his name. So if you have a Manda Omar Rabbi Yosef in Shas, he's named after Yosef HaTzadik in Chumash, and there's some connection there. If his name is Yaakov, he's connected to Yaakov. If his name is Yitzchok, he's connected to Yitzchok of the Chumash. And constantly he connects, and based on that we can understand why certain sages said certain things, because it connects to their soul, so to say, their personality, after the one who they're named after. So here we have a very interesting thing. The Gemara says in Tainus, that Amar Aleph, and the Gemara talks about over there that there are 2 months of the year. There was the month of Ov, and on the 15th day of Ov, they would stop cutting the wood for the Beis Hamikdash. And basically the reason was because the nights would get longer and the sun would be lighting the world lesser time, and therefore it wouldn't dry up the wood completely and it would bring worms, and therefore they stopped cutting the wood after Tes Vov of the Chodesh Ov. So the nights would become longer. And then there's 6 months later, the year in general is broken up into 6 months, 6 months. 6 months later, Tes Vov Shvat is the month we know where the trees start blossoming. And that's also the Yom Tov of Tuba, Tes Vov of Shvat. So here you have Tes Vov of Ov, connected to a tree, and here you have Tes Vov of Shvat. And the Manda Omer over there, here's the main point. In the Gemara over there is Rabbi Yosef, one of the Manda Omer. And then he says that since it's a night, the night gets longer, a person should be moisef, from the word Yosef. A person should add in learning Torah. I'm not going to go into detail. If anyone wants to learn the meaning of that whole Gemara, in the Likutei Sichos Chelik Lamed Daled, on Tes Vov of Ov, the Rebbe explains that Gemara in a very great detail, in a beautiful way. But there's a special schus, a merit that if you learn Torah at night, you get to the essence of Torah, and that starts from Tes Vov, the 15th day of Ov. So here comes Rabbi Yitzchok, and he says that in the word Avrech is hinted this Gemara over here. Av comes from the meaning of the word, the month of Ov. And Rach, Reish, Chov, means soft. The Pshat that Rashi said before means young, but also means, like I say, Rakus. We have in the Parsha for last week, from 2 weeks ago, from Parshas Vayishlach, it says, Hayalodim, the children are very soft and weak. And that's corresponds to the Chodesh of Shvat, where in practical the branches just start to grow and to come out and to sprout in the Chodesh Shvat. So the branches are soft over there, rakos. When are they hard? They're hard in the month of time, summertime. That's when you cut it down. So the pasuk starts over here. What? First it starts with the month of Ov, and then it's hinted the Rach, the month of Shvat. And during that period, what does Rabbi Yosef say in the Gemara? The nights are basically longer than, and therefore Yosef, you should add in Torah. So here you see so beautiful how in the word of Avrech is hinted that Gemara, that from the month of Av, till the month when the trees are rach, when the trees are soft and weak, Rakus, we should add, Yosef, you should add a learning Torah. So the Gemara in Tainus is hinted over here. Then continues Rabbi Yitzchok and says that the name Yosef is connected to tree specifically. We spoke many, many times according to Chassidus. Everyone has his attribute, that his midah that he excels with, his avodah. And we know that Yosef HaTzadik, he's called the avodah from Midas HaYesod. Midas HaYesod is the flow that brings procreation in the world. And that's similar to a tree. Because a tree, if it bears fruit, the purpose of the tree, the Chumash says, Eitz Oisa Pri. It's a tree that gives off offspring, that gives off fruit. It continues, it brings to the world fruit. Same thing also, the mitzvah of Puruvu, that's the Midas HaYesod, that's Yosef. And Midas HaYesod is the number 6, we spoke many times, and 6 is, the name of Yosef is 6 times Shemavaya, 6 times Shemavaya is 156. And also in this week's Parsha, another interesting hint connected to this. Why did Yosef HaTzadik come out of jail? The Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah, Daf Yud Aleph, he came out on Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah was the 6th day of creation, the day that Adam HaRishon was created. Why the 6th day? Connected to Yosef HaTzadik, he came out on jail on that day on Rosh Hashanah, because Yosef is connected again to the number 6, which is Midas HaYesod. So just like a tree, it bears fruit, there's also Yosef HaTzadik. Then the Rebbe's father continues and says, also B'Gematria, it fits, because Eitz, Ayin Tzadik is 160, if you add the letters together. And Yosef itself is 156, but if you add also the 4 letters, Yud, Vov, Samach, Pei, 156 plus 4 is 160, adds up to Eitz. Many, many other hints that Yosef is compared to Eitz. And so here you see how beautiful this Gemara over there in Tainus, who says Rabbi Yosef, the Mandom is Rabbi Yosef, connected to the Yosef Arishon of the Chumash, which is our Parsha Yosef HaTzadik, and they called him Avrech, Av connected to the month of Chamisha Sabov, and Rach to the month of Tezvov of Shvat. At that time, the nights are basically longer, and a person should be Yosef, should add and learning Torah, he should increase. And through that, the Gemara says, he will increase in blessings from Hashem. So you see, this beautiful Gemara is hinted in the word Avarech.